stream. And let me just double check to make sure that everything ported over. We have excellent connection. And can they see? Yes, they can see. Okay, excellent. And we're here. And we're live. Welcome to the show, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Weebo Jones. With me tonight is always, because it's not like I do anything else on this channel, is Polydub. Say hi, Polly.
Hello.
How are you?
Disappointed.
Why?
Because that intro was weak, Weebo.
Oh, I know. I need to really beef up my.
You got to get. We were talking about this just the other day. We both got to get like AP. You know, he comes in strong, right? He's like, hey everybody, I'm Weebo Jones, and welcome to my home where there's cats abounding, and I'm going to be drinking because I'm a future wine mom. And joining me is the other Polydub. Wonderful as always. How you doing there, Polly? Like, you know, hey.
Did you just pull that out of your ass? That was actually pretty good. I'm stealing it.
Yeah, actually, I did just pull it out of my ass. I was just thinking, what would AP do? You know,
It sounds a little more energetic than I feel on Sunday evenings, but I could work with it. That's a nice.
No, I don't feel
base.
remotely energetic. That was just me putting on the over the top. I don't know, used car salesman, hyper excited guy voice. I don't know.
Apparently my audio is low. Let me go ahead and fix the audio. I hate everything. Audio.
Oh yeah, your voice is quite quiet.
Your voice is quiet. Microphone setup. Okay, there we go. Voice speed. No, not that. Go away. I forgot how to do this again. I always forget how to do this. Volume? Is it volume? Adjust volume.
How you doing there, Scribe?
Hi, Scribe. Check other sound settings. Communications. Playback. Recording. Playback. Recording. Microphone. Dora. Dora. Set default properties. Advanced levels. Okay, how does that sound?
Whoa, louder.
Is
better.
that too loud? Is that loud enough?
You're asking me.
Chat, how we're sounding. Because that's at 85. I can go to 100 and then you know what? I'm just going to go to 100. And then I will adjust it in OBS according to what everyone wants. How's that? That sounds good. I like that idea. That's a good idea. Perfect. Okay, excellent.
One of these days I'm going to figure out proper leveling. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it'll happen eventually. But
well, you know what I think what happens is, for whatever reason, Windows goes in and they reset sound settings, and then I don't find out about it until someone on the show tells me, hey, your sound is shit, fix it. And then I'm like, darn, how do I do this all over again? And now it's basically just a cyclical thing that will forever be eternal within the show. I don't know.
I gotta take some responsibility for it, though, honestly, because people are talking in Discord, and I will turn down the Discord volume, which also turns down the Discord level, the gain of it. So it's like, I just don't need it to be that loud to hear what people are talking about in a voice chat. But it needs to be much higher to stream, because my mic level will be over and above theirs. I really shouldn't be running my headphones through the computer directly. It should be running through a mixer where the headphone level is just a monitor level and is distinct from the audio level. And then I could get the mic level and the y'all's level set and leave it the fuck alone.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Wouldn't that be so lovely?
Yeah. And then when I need to turn the headphone volume up or down, I'll just turn the monitor level up or down.
Yeah.
So people that are like professionals and competent do this. Yeah. I'll get there one day.
Do they have like a separate software, or is it separate hardware that controls all of those levels, do you think?
I think you can do it either way. What came to mind immediately was the hardware way. Like like through if you're plugging in through your Scarlett mixer or you're plugging it in through the. I mean, you have a whatchamacallit, don't you? A Blue Yeti.
Yeah, I got a Blue Yeti. I actually have another microphone too that I have yet to actually calibrate for side quest purposes. Yeah, the tiny little mic. It doesn't have like the mute feature or the gains feature on it like the other one does, but it does have other features that I've not yet toyed with. I've had it for like a month, and I have to sit down with Magog and sort out the specifics that he wants so that all of our audio equipment matches each other. Because we're so much more professional over on SideQuest than we are here.
Like okay, I took that as a slight, but that's fine.
Well, fine. No, I mean, like, he made sure that we have, like, all matching equipment. So, we have the same microphones. We have the same cameras. We have the same... well, not the same, but he made me a background for my Nameless Thief character that is actually animated, so it's no longer just a still image of me on a ship. It's me on a ship, but the ship is traveling through space and time, or not space and time, but it's traveling as if time is passing on the sea with candle flickering in the background. Kind of like one of your edit with the cars in the rainy noir space. Yeah. Kind of like that.
Yeah, those things that I put so much effort into and never used.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, Polly.
I got 5 different locations in Noir City, and I haven't used fucking one of them. Not one.
Yeah, and they're really impressive things.
Well, thank you.
Not the blurry camera. This is a different camera from the one that I use for SideQuest, actually. The SideQuest camera is this bad boy. It's like an actual fancy webcam with different like settings attached to it.
That is a sincere hell of a webcam. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. And it's like super heavy too, so I have to actually bring out my tripod to film with it. So yeah, every week for SideQuest is a whole like big setup. Not only do I have to get into costume, which takes at least 45 minutes because the well, the SideQuest camera was only blurry last week because I had to default to this one because this one had a little bit of a technical malfunction that was resolved by closing out of OBS and restarting it, but that didn't happen until after the show because the issue didn't present itself until as we were starting. But anyway, 45 minutes to get into costume because I have the corset, the makeup, the hair, and the mic or the headphones because I have to actually slip this underneath the shirt and the corset in order to hide it from you guys, and then like maybe 15 minutes to put the mask on, set up the green screen, calibrate all of the OBS functions that go into making the green screen look presentable, which it's not perfect. I don't have A+ lighting in here to prevent all of the weird little shenanigans from happening, but I can get it as close as I can, or as close as can be within 15 minutes, and then maybe like 2 more minutes to grab whatever prop I'm using for the thief sells junk to the audience. 2 minutes. So like there's a lot more prep than what goes into the cocktail hour, which is just, it's already pre-geared up. All I have to do is open OBS, capture the chat window, put it in here, switch to that specific scene, and then go live to Poly. And it's so much easier. It takes like 5 minutes as opposed to an hour of preparatory work. I think actually last side quest I had to get ready in a lot less time than I normally do. Oh no, Tavern Talks. Same deal. But I had to get ready in like half an hour instead of the full hour because I was coming home from my father and now boyfriend's birthday dinner, and I was rushing. It was bad. I actually hopped on stream with only one contact lens in, and that was the whole rest of my night. It was so irksome. Have you ever done that? Just like
left a contact in?
Only one contact.
No, I don't wear contacts.
Oh, well, imagine you can only see clearly out of one eyeball.
That would suck.
And you're not used to that. you're used to either no vision correction or full vision correction, and nothing in between. Yeah. No, I do need to bring up my production for Cocktail Hour as well as other things that I want to do on this channel. But I've been lacking because other things have just taken precedence. You know, as they do. IRL before URL and all that jazz.
Uh-huh.
But that's no excuse.
How do you change your fucking avatar image? Weebo!
In Discord?
Yeah.
You go to your profile, settings, profile, my account? What's streamer mode? I have no idea.
Yeah, streamer mode. Exactly.
Streamer mode, what does that do? Appearance?
It gets... streamer mode yeets anything particular to you. So in case you're stupid and share... Well, clumsy, and end up sharing, you know, your email address and your phone number and your... I don't know, your credit card or whatever the fuck else you got. So let me just disable that for a second. My account. Oh, there it is. That's why I couldn't see it.
I can't
Streamer
remember.
mode was enabled.
Devices.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. But all of a sudden, you know, October 1st, people are talking about Christmas creep. It's just fucking pumpkins everywhere, skeletons everywhere. Yeah.
What's wrong with Christmas creep?
Nothing. Well, there's nothing wrong with it. But as soon as October 1st hit, bang! It's Halloween. I'm like, it's literally 31 fucking days away.
Wait, are you dissing on the month of October being the month of Halloween?
I am commenting upon it. Yes.
So commenting as in it should not be this way, or
it was a little abrupt.
Okay, and that's kind of how dates work. It's just like 1 minute, it's September the 30th. The next minute, it's October the 1st.
Yeah, that was abrupt. Like one day it's October the 1st and the date switches. Yes, you're right. The date switches rather abruptly. 11:59. I get you. Okay. These people all had like fucking pumpkins up their sleeves and skeletons in their back pocket, and all of a sudden,
what would you like?
Pumpkin spice lattes everywhere, and pumpkins everywhere, and people on their stream have animated jack-o'-lanterns, and say, "Holy shit, that happened fast."
Well, people are very passionate about Halloween month. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah.
Like, hi, hello, I'm one of those people. I'm not in the showy way that like through your profile picture and whatnot, but like I get into the groove. I like my pumpkin. I made pumpkin pancakes this morning.
No shit.
Great. Yeah, I did. They were healthy pumpkin pancakes. Low carb, high protein pumpkin pancakes. Because I talked to my doctor Friday. She's like, I would really like to see you eating only 80 carbs a day. Nothing more than that.
80 carbs a day.
Yeah. And the reason why...
What's the unit of 80? Like, what is that? 80 what?
80 grams.
80 grams.
80 grams of carbs. Sorry. Wasn't clear, was I? Yeah, 80 grams of carbs a day.
There we go.
Yes. And the reason why...
There we are.
80. Only 80.
Changed my avatar. It's there. Halloween-y now.
Oh, it's so cute!
Yeah.
Oh. Wait, can you, like, send me a blown-up image, too, so it's not just super tiny? Because I really want to grasp the full...
You want to see the full otter sticking his head in a jack-o'-lantern?
Yeah.
Yes,
Don't
I
you?
can.
Okay.
Well, I already did. Boom. Where are you, Weebo? Where are you hiding? There you are.
Where am I? I don't know. It's a good question.
Fuck. There it is. There. En route.
Did you change your image in Twitter as well?
No.
You're not going to do that? Or are you going to do that?
For Christ's sake, it just, I don't know.
It's only been like 5 seconds, Weebo. Jesus. Give me a minute. Chat.
It's, I'm fine with Halloween. I have no opposition to it in any kind of way. I don't know. As soon as Thanksgiving's over, I mean, up until Thanksgiving, I got the Pilgrim Otter. And then as soon as Christmas hits, that's when I go full artard. like the day after Thanksgiving, because Christmas is worth freaking out over because it's Christmas.
It's so cute. Oh yeah, so Smokey Rat, he says that he only eats like 75 grams and I'm diabetic, and he says average for normal humans is 125 or 150 grams, I thought. It is, but I'm not a normal human being. I'm not diabetic, but I am insulin resistant. I'm not 100% sure exactly what that means, but from what I understand, it means that my doctor has recommended that I only eat like 80 grams of carbs a day so as to combat the insulin resistance, and also start taking that frontline medication for type 2 diabetes. It's called metformin. So that's gonna be so much fun.
What does that do?
It is supposed to help you absorb insulin better, from what I understand. So, I have what the ladies call PCOS, which is when, you have, like, cysts on your ovaries. But they're caused by, or at least they think the cause is insulin resistance. And so because you're resistant to insulin, it has all of these other lovely little side effects, like I am forever craving carbs because I'm not getting them like I should be. But I also gain weight more easily than your average woman. I grow more hair than your average woman because it also increases testosterone levels, which would explain a lot, you know.
Well, okay.
What else? There's like a third thing that you're supposed to have in order to get diagnosed with it. It's greater testosterone levels, cysts on your ovaries, and inconsistent periods. Such fun female things. But anyway, because of that, those issues, it's downstream from a whole bunch of other health issues later on down the line, with like having trouble getting pregnant, so fertility issues. You could develop diabetes later on in life as well, and all of this stems from the fact that you're insulin resistant, I guess. So we're trying to, hopefully in the next year or so, get that under control, get me to a healthier weight, get me to a place where I don't have to be on the medication anymore, and get me into a healthier lifestyle so that I don't have to take medication, the symptoms go away, and I am right as rain, essentially. Because what she explained it to me as, like, if you can get all your ducks in a row, then we don't have to keep having these conversations, and you don't run the risk of, you know, having to have issues with anything down the line. So.
Oh.
Yeah. So now I'm on metformin, which I've heard lovely things about. Not a whole lot of lovely things about it at all. Yeah, I was told that it reacts poorly with the stomach. So I am being very careful with, one, the dosage initially. So I'm not at the immediate 2,000 milligrams. I'm only taking 1,000 milligrams a day. 500 in the morning, 500 at night. And always after I've eaten, like immediately after I've eaten. And then she's also got me monitoring my blood glucose levels. So basically, it's like I have diabetes.
Just to get out ahead of your potential diabetes.
Right.
Gotcha.
So, for the next year or so, this will be fun. Yeah. I'm excited. What I'm super not excited about is, like, low blood sugar. Because I guess apparently that's a risk that I will be heading for if I don't manage this properly, if I'm not super strict with how my diet is. Have you had your blood sugars checked? Actually, yes. Just before dinner, it was 96. I'm not sure what the metric is for it, but that's good. That's like within normal range. You don't want a blood sugar below 70. So, like, I don't have diabetes. I'm not pre-diabetic. I just am insulin resistant due to the PCOS. At least that's what they think the cause is for all of the other shenanigans. Anyway, so that's what's new with me. If I pass out due to low blood sugar, probably, alert the media. I don't know. I'll give you El Boyfriendo's number to let him know.
Yeah.
It's hard to get your blood sugars too low when taking metformin. Literally yesterday, before I ate, it was 71. It is not that hard for me, it turns out, because apparently I'm not the best when it comes to eating in a healthy way. Like, I eat healthy, but I don't eat like enough, or I eat too much and I eat at the wrong times, or I fast for too long. I just, like, I'm one extreme or the other extreme. I eat too much too many times a day, or I don't eat enough, or I span it out too much. I haven't found a happy medium that works for me. We will watch you sleep, says Snoopy. Thanks, Snoopy. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm trying to eat more regularly, so that means 3 meals a day, at least. I'll have snacks. I got blood sugar tabs, so if I feel like I'm gonna pass out at work or whatever, 15 grams of that. I'm super freaked out about this, if you can't tell. Because, like, I kind of terrified myself with all the symptoms when I Googled what to expect with the new drug. So you ever done that? You ever done that, Polly? When you go on the internet after you've, like, had symptoms, or you met with your doctor and they put you on a new medication, and you're like, oh, I wonder what I'm in store for. And then you read all the horror stories and you're like, oh shit, all of this is gonna happen to me, and you start freaking out about it.
Yeah, my doctor told me not to do that.
No one told me not to do that. And I'm the type that over prepares rather than under prepares. So I have a spreadsheet. I made a spreadsheet. Bad Weebo. Never Google medical stuff. Yeah. I know. I'm aware. But what are you gonna do? So.
You know that there's the Isles of Sicily off of Cornwall, England?
They have Sicily off of Cornwall, England? I thought Sicily was...
It's like, yo, that name's been taken, guys. And for a while.
Yeah, but, like, we have a Georgia, and Georgia was also the name of a country elsewhere before we took it, right?
Yeah, well, fuck them. This is different.
How is it different? Isn't Washington the name of one of our presidents? You can't just take someone's name and make it the name of a state or a capital.
Well, no, I think that is legitimately different, naming places after people. I mean, like, right. Sir Corn.
What about New York? There was already a York.
Okay, right. So, New Sicily is what I was about to say.
Okay. Yeah, because the Brits are the Brits are so good about just, you know, letting things be original other places, right?
I don't see the problem here.
You don't see the problem?
With
I don't see the problem either. So I guess we're both not seeing the problem.
Okay, anyway.
Okay, where did this come from exactly?
Yeah, there's a point here.
Uh-huh.
Believe it or not. So I'm sharing my screen.
So you're sharing your screen.
Uh-huh.
Hang on. Let me pull out watch stream and switch to Discord capture. Discord. Is it this one? Yes.
That is Bishop Rock. It's one of the smallest islands in the world.
Is that like a functional lighthouse?
Yeah.
Do people like live there now? Is it maintained?
Well, I think there's a poly-like guy there, some like lonely man who just sits there by himself and considers his poor life decisions.
You ever wanted to live on a lighthouse island? Because I've kind of had the urge on occasion. Like, it wouldn't be
as
that
long as the
bad.
only living quarters weren't like upstairs, because the flashing light might keep you up. Like, but there's windows all the way down
Right.
the tower.
Right, but
So
how do you know
yeah,
it's not just one gigantic staircase winding up?
I'd bring lumber
Yeah.
and nails and a hammer and whatnot. And like, if it were just stairs, I would do something about that. If you
Okay.
know what I mean.
Right.
I would make a cot of some sort.
You DIY
Yes, I would.
the fuck out
Yes,
of
I
that
would.
tower.
Yeah, and I would make sure that there was satellite internet, and if there were indeed satellite internet and sleeping quarters of some sort, yeah, I'd be okay with a lighthouse trip for a while. How long could you live on a lighthouse? How long could you live on Bishop Rock, Weebo?
Like,
I mean,
without external support for, like,
like
food
it's got a
and whatnot?
helipad.
It's got a helipad. Like, how much food do I have? Am I getting food from the outside world? Is there a backstock for...
As opposed to what? Fish?
like, you can only live off fish for so long. You'd be deficient in nutrients after a while.
Let's say
There
that
are certain vitamins you can't get from fish alone.
It's not true. You can live a pescatarian diet. Well, you mean like no vegetables or anything else, just
Like,
fish?
you need,
Yeah,
you'd need vegetables. You need some sort of fiber in your diet at the
No,
very least.
let's say that you had an ample supply of food. I mean, after all, they have a helipad.
Right.
Okay.
Like,
Let's say
someone was
Boyfriendo would
consistently
come by every
airdropping.
now and
Okay.
then, and you know, he El Boyfriendo would drop by and drop off food and a conjugal visit and then gone.
Am I a prisoner on the island?
No, you're the one who maintains the fucking light. That's what you do there.
Well, you said conjugal visit. And
What?
that's what that means.
No, conjugal visit does not imply imprisonment.
Yes, it
just-
does. Yes, it does.
Really? Do you want to look up the word conjugal?
Yes, I
You
do.
wanna-
I'm gonna do it.
All right, go ahead.
Conjugal. Relating to marriage or the relationship of a married couple. Okay, fuck you.
In your face. That's why the wedding night bed is called the conjugal bed.
No.
What?
No.
You mean no? No, it is. What? God
No.
damn it, Weebo.
Anyway, so how long
don't
could
know
I
things,
last?
so therefore it must not be a thing, right?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Object permanence is irrelevant. I don't know what you're talking about. Imagine ordering a pizza to there. I'd have
this
to,
is-
like...
So again, you didn't answer the question. How long could you live on Bishop Island here? Assuming you had the foods.
Do I have access to, like, the internet?
Yep, that was one of my preconditions.
Okay.
Is as long as I had like satellite internet access, and
Yeah,
and a laptop with like a, you know, it doesn't need to be a large screen, but you know, nice 17-inch.
I could probably last at least until the next family member's, like, birthday party. Because I have to make the obligatory show at the birthday party. Just so that they know I'm alive. But otherwise, like, if I had no family members left, I could just live there forever, probably.
Could you?
I don't
Except for
need
familial
to.
obligations, that was the only thing that would make you come mainland.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, if El Boyfriendo was coming to visit, too, yeah, he'd eventually live there with me, I'd assume. I don't really need to go anywhere. I can exist as a hermit, and if I have the internet, then I can talk to all my friends online. I really missed out on the whole working, the whole, like, quarantine arc that everyone else got, because I actually had to go out and work and do school stuff. Like, I didn't get to quarantine like everyone else did.
See, you get cool sunrises.
Sex tower, yeah!
Fuck yeah!
Yeah,
See, if you notice, Bishop Rock Lighthouse, the Isles of Sicily, England. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
I could do that for forever, assuming that, like, I was no one to no one.
Yeah, no one to no one.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Like, if I was a wee little orphan. with no one who loved her.
Because usually, in fiction, it's, old lonely man out on the sea, that kind of thing.
Yeah. With
Yeah.
regrets and a dark past.
Yeah, see, that's why I'd fit right in. Like, it would just be...
You should buy a lighthouse island.
By Bishop Island?
Yeah, buy the island.
I got a strong feeling Britain wouldn't let me do it.
No?
That's my guess.
Yeah.
I mean, they might be hot to get rid of it, but I doubt it.
How would you get off the island, other than the helicarrier? Like,
Swim.
are you not concerned about the tide smacking you against the rocks of the island, or is that not a concern? I don't know. I've not had the pleasure of experiencing the tide over here at Bishop Island.
No, neither have I. And I mean, it sure does look like it's a little like awash. But these are the Isles of Sicily, and they're like, they're like stepping stones. You don't have very English. You don't have very far to swim to get to the next one,
right?
And then the next one, and the next one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you want to see the most adorable house ever on the most adorable island ever? You want to see this?
Yes.
I think you're gonna love this. You ready?
I want to see it. Let's go.
Okay.
Right now.
Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, wait, hang on, pause. I need to, expand this for the audience so that they can see it, too. Polly, how do I do the thing with the...
Alt, and then go to the one far side and
Alt.
drag her out. Like, hold Alt and then left click and then drag her out.
Yeah.
And then drag the whole thing back. Yeah.
Thank
there
you.
go. Look at that.
That is adorable.
Isn't it, though? Look, they got their own tree. I mean, it sounds funny you say that, but the fucking island's so small, it's amazing they got a tree.
They got a tree.
Yeah. And most of the tree is out over the water.
I've seen islands like this, actually, on the Chain of Lakes up here in Illinois. They have just, sections of land on it, in the middle of all of the lakes. Because it's not like they're super deep lakes. It's a chain of lakes, so everything is connected to a whole bunch of other things. And they're not super deep. They're super shallow, and they're inland. But in the lakes themselves, there's little sections of land that carves itself out of the sea where people have just set up little bungalows and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. I always wondered, how do they get there? How do they build that there? How do they even claim that land there? Just
how do they get the building supplies there?
Right.
You know
what about the plumbing? How does that get hooked up? The electricity.
Wow.
How did that work?
Well, magnets. What the fuck's up with them, huh?
Magnets. I mean, how did
I'm assuming
they?
It's an outhouse type arrangement with this. I don't think there's plumbing. I mean, I guess there's nothing stopping you from dropping trout and just crapping in the river, but you probably shouldn't do that.
Right? Is there some guy on a boat with a sump pump coming around?
This, if I remember correctly, is Thousand Islands single house. So the Thousand Islands are where they're in one of the Great Lakes, right? I think.
Maybe. I've not been to all the Great Lakes, despite the fact that I'm in the Midwest.
It interests. I mean, I just think it's cool that it's fresh water,
right?
Because then, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
See, this would be like Poly Island, ANCAP reprieve. I've got guns.
Mm-hmm.
Stay off my land, and I'm gonna see you coming
from all directions.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you create a tower?
I've got a very large natural moat working here. Fuck off.
Yeah, but in the winter, the moat is frozen.
We don't know that. Do the Great Lakes completely freeze over? I don't know. Do they?
Part of them do. At least the parts closer to land. If you ever see Lake Michigan in the winter off of Chicago, there's big swaths of ice sheets that just kind of encroach upon the waterfront property areas. I don't know how far that goes out though, the frozenness, but I'd assume that there is frozen lake for a distance, you know?
Yeah. Well, okay. See, here's the thing. I wouldn't let that stop me because I'd bring dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
And like as the lake freezes and and the ice gets closer and closer to Cap Poly Isle, I would just, you know, throw a stick of dynamite out every now and then and break it up.
Yeah, but where would you get the dynamite from?
I'd bring it with me.
Yeah, but like eventually you'd run out.
I'd go back to land and get more.
How are you
I
gonna do
leave the
that?
house booby trapped in case anyone showed up when I was gone.
How are you gonna do that? Your boat's frozen inland or to your to the dock. Like, okay, Polly, I don't know if you know this, but in the
Thank you for your patronage.
in the winter, they take boats out of the water and they remove the shore stations from the water because frozen water can damage those very easily. So if your boat is not like super massive, it gets yoinked.
I would drag it up. Like I don't need a fucking yacht. I don't need a full fucking
Would it be like a paddle boat?
marina wharf.
I'm not saying a marina wharf. I'm like talking about just some like pontoon thingy. They don't
That's
keep
what I'm
those
saying.
on
Just
the
drag
lake.
it up. Like, there's enough land here. Look, drag it up on that.
Okay, and then how do you get it off the land? Like, how do you? Do you
Push
know
it back
how?
out. What the hell?
Do you know how much pontoon boats weigh?
No, we're talking about like a small little fishing boat, one of them aluminum deals, where it's like one person with an oar. Like it's like,
Okay, that's better.
Not a kayak, but you know, along the same length as a kayak, but wider,
Okay, I guess that's a better idea.
like a canoe or whatever the fuck.
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Excuse me, fuck.
But also, it amuses me the idea of someone canoeing their way back to mainland in one of the Great Lakes during the winter. That's got to be fucking cold and wet.
Yeah. This is I don't know, man. I've got folders full of shit, like full of so much stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, look, Weebo.
Is that the Parthenon in Athens?
Yeah, it's the Acropolis.
Hey. I've been
Why is that
there.
picture here? I don't know.
I've been there.
Yeah,
It
jelly.
had a lot more scaffolding on it when I went. Although maybe there's scaffolding. Maybe there is scaffolding. You just can't see it because it's like dusk out or whatever. But it's a long walk up to the like summit of the Acropolis. You have to
That I
go past that is that the Theater of Dionysus, I believe, just before it, in the foreground section with the light.
That I do not know. Is it?
I think so. The Theater of Dionysus, right on the Acropolis to the Parthenon. Let me Google that. Of Dionysus. If not, it might be. I mean, it is there, but it's not what I'm looking at. It's not what I'm thinking of. Hang on. It's been like 3 or 4 years.
Well, let me grab this and move this over here so I can still read chat.
Speaking of which, we have donations from our good buddy pal, The Next 6 Minutes, who donated $3.14 to me through the Streamlabs to say, I can't thank you enough for your support over the last week. Thanks for being awesome. I want everyone to support Weebo and sub if you haven't. Buy some merch because it's awesome merch. At the very least, share her links. She's a cool Weebo. Indeed, I am a cool Weebo. And I hope you're doing alright, 6.
Here, let's see.
It's been like 3 years since I've been to the Acropolis.
Next 6 minutes, thank you for the $2.42. If y'all weren't watching Noir Bar, you either had an early bedtime or you don't have a taste in live streams. Noir Bar is awesome and integral to your nighttime interneting. Interwebs, that Noir Bar. Yeah. Yeah, we did a 5.5 hour long form last night. It was, I don't know. Sam and I got on there and just started rambling, and next thing I knew, it was like, holy fuck! I just
It do be like that.
yeah, people came and went and whatnot, and that's sort of the open door policy we have at Noir Bar back in the year of our Lord 1942. Come on in.
Hey now.
So there's that one. Thank you very much, Six. I appreciate that, and I hope you're doing well.
Now I'm looking at this map and I'm trying to, like, determine where things are. Mein comfy chair. Why do you have this?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this folder. It's just got such a shit mix of whatever the fuck in here.
What's the name of this folder, by chance?
Misc picks. Miscellaneous picks.
Ah. Nothing, like, super inappropriate that'll get me banned off YouTube, right?
Like mine comfy chair?
That won't get me banned off YouTube.
No.
I mean, like, your hentai collection is in...
Oh, yeah, my hentai collection would. Yeah.
It's not, like, nested in the miscellaneous folder, perchance.
No, it's not.
Okay.
There's nothing in here along those lines.
Good.
Oh, here, look. Checkmate, round earthers.
Is that a face at the edge of the world?
Where are you seeing the face?
Okay, so right where everything drops off, right underneath, kind of diagonal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think so.
It kind of looks like a face.
This isn't very accurate. Where's the ice pack at the edge of the world before the firmament begins? I've read up on my flat earthisms.
Could you, like, battle a flat earther? And be right? Like, could you... Okay, so crazy people who are really smart, but like... Okay, so people that are really smart, but happen to have, like, this one hang-up, which is that they believe in something super, super ridiculous, like the flat earth, and they're super passionate about it, and they've spent a lot of time thinking up how to explain their ideology. They're really good about explaining everything, and they're really well informed on that, to the point where your layman round earther, or they could talk layman round earther under the table, basically, just like clean them out.
I could argue a round earther, yes, that I've because I find flat earthers, the degree that they go to create an internally consistent I mean, it's wrong. Don't get this confused, okay? The Earth is in fact round. But the lengths that flat earthers go to that really take it seriously to explain away all of the evidence that has been presented to the contrary of their flat Earth opinion is fantastic. Because I love seeing the amount of time and energy that they've put into it. It's like, all of the NASA pictures and like how they sent it up into, low firmament orbit, okay, where it's just like on a very high ballistic trajectory, and then whilst it's up there, the pre-programmed photographs that they generated, like with CGI and on computers and whatnot, are then transmitted back down to Earth to make us think that the world is round when it's in fact not.
Right, so you could argue flat Earth theory to a round earther. But could you argue the reverse? Could you argue round Earth theory to a flat earther and come out looking good? I guess is the question that I was asking.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I know how they got to where they got to. Yeah. I could do a better job of it than Neil deGrasse Tyson did. I remember watching him one time on a talk show trying to argue. It's just
well, that's all that matters, really.
Well,
that you can do better than Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Well, most people could. I mean, all you have to do is just like not, he was there to promote himself, so he talked about himself more than he talked about.
As one does.
Yeah, and when he did reference the flat Earth thing, it was mostly lame talking points that anyone could easily dismiss. Like, you see the mast of a ship disappearing, like a very tall mass of ships, disappearing over the horizon, slowly going down because they're moving over the curvature of the Earth when you look at them at a distance through a looking glass. So even people back as far as the 15, 16, 1700s, had more than enough empirical evidence that the world was round. It's like, that doesn't mean the world's round. There's lots of ways to explain why it appears that mast is going down. But you're describing the optical appearance of a thing. Like, I'm saying there's better arguments you can make, is my point. Because, hey, put a straw in a glass of water. What happens? Well, the straw appears to be split. Yeah, but it's not. That's just because of the refraction of the water. Right. It's an optical illusion.
Right.
Just like it appears that the mast is going down slowly. It's an optical illusion. You see what I mean? Like things that are just easily refuted with some stupid little statement about straw and water, for example.
Right.
Now, there's far better ways to explain the curvature of the Earth than that. And no, there's no shot with a rifle that you can take that's so long you need to account for the curvature of the Earth. Fuck, I hate when people bring that point up.
Wait, you mean I can't just launch myself in a rocket to determine whether or not the Earth is round or flat? You telling me that I can't do that?
That guy. I can't believe he did that. I mean, it's not funny because a man died, but it's also funny because, like...
What did you expect?
He's gone, and then if you don't know where to look, you don't really see it. There's just this poof, puff of smoke, like Wile E. Coyote hitting the ground in the desert after he did something. Like, just poof, this little puff of smoke, and it's like, oh my god, that was him hitting the ground and dying.
He just knocked himself out of the gene pool, and we don't have to worry about that ever again. It's fun. R.I.P. in peace, but
yeah,
we're better off probably. They knew the world was round over 2,500 years ago. I think it was a little bit longer than that. This speaks to me on a level.
Yeah, let that just sit with you for a second. It's a little,
Yeah, profound.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like what Daniel Fullman has to say in the chat. He says the best way to debate is to know all the opponent's points. So that's half the battle. First, you have to understand what your opponent is getting at, like all of their arguments, certainly. But the second half of that battle, in order to win the debate, is to know how to deconstruct those arguments. And of course, you can't do that unless you understand the arguments in the first place. So it's a twofold.
I agree. It actually is a lot of work to know your opponent's arguments as well as they do, to be able to know what they're going to come up with. I have found that if the person is a common debater where their debates are available on video, that is probably more important than studying the issue as a whole. Find out what they're like. If you get a chance, have a chance to watch 2 or 3 of their debates, even better, see them in person. And what are the points that they bring up again and again, and what is their style and approach? Because that has, if we're talking like a formal debate, yeah, that's going to be of a greater advantage to you, because then you can really focus in on those particular points that they're willing and likely to make and common to make. People are very unlikely to switch their strategic tactics, be it in warfare, be it in conversation, be it in, no. It's because I know that he knows the way I debate, therefore I'm going to switch my tactics. But knowing that he knows that I know that he knows, I'm going to stick with the same ones. Like, do you see what I mean? People don't do that. They just stick with what they do.
Thank you for
They don't
your
know that we know
patronage.
they know we know.
Exactly.
Thank you the next 6 minutes for the donation. Everyone show the Wonton Hammer some love right now. He's going to need a lot of support. He's a good dude. Yeah. Everyone, tell the Wonton Hammer you love him.
One-ton hammer is best, man.
He good noodle.
Oh, yeah. He's as good as it gets.
He a good people. Now, Polly, in a, like, not a formal debate, because it doesn't really happen in formal debates, or at least it shouldn't happen in formal debates, but, like, general internet debate. Are you the type to match energy for energy, or are you the type to maintain your own, like, composure? Like, however it is that you would normally conduct yourself in the onset of a internet conversation. Do you maintain that, or do you rise to the level that the opponent has brought with them, emotionally speaking?
Best to. It depends. It really does depend. Like Sun Tzu or Swanza, if you want to go really academic on it, and Machiavelli both came with the same idea. If your opponent is of choleric temper, irritate them. If they are an irritable person, push them. Push them because anger makes you stupid. Push them to making stupid mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Raising a number of pedantic points early in a debate with somebody who is quick to rage is a great idea. It is a fantastic idea. One of my favorite quote unquote YouTube debates I've ever seen, because people are likely and very commonly do rage out on YouTube debates because people personally attack each other all the time.
Oh, yeah.
They refuse to answer questions. They act as if they've delivered hardcore mic drop statements that have like flattened the issue out, formerly known as false triumphalism, where they've declared victory, and it's like, what the fuck? No, wait, no, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. See, you got nothing to say. You got nothing. It's like, okay, say that 5 more times. They're trying to irritate you and just,
right,
act as they won when they haven't really said very much of substance. One of the greatest debates I've ever seen along those lines to forcing someone to a place of rage quitting was, Destiny is seen as being like this great debater, and he's very good at gish galloping, and he can run over top of everybody, and he very much will look into an issue, and he has a wide range of knowledge to begin with.
right.
Really, go back and watch the debate with him and Naked Ape. Remember Naked Ape?
No.
He was a YouTuber from back in the day.
Is it really that, like, cancer-y?
Was the debate that cancer-y?
Yeah.
To see Destiny literally rage quit a debate was fantastic, because how do you get this guy who makes people rage quit himself? And Naked Ape, being an extremely bright guy, knew how to do it. How does Destiny get people angry? He's laughing constantly, giggling like a fucking retard. He's always doing that. Oh, no, I don't even know what you're talking about. Oh. And it's really annoying.
Is it the one from 5 years ago? Just curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Naked Ape puts on a whether or not immigrants, what they ended up talking about was whether or not mass immigration affects the general outcomes of it, but particularly whether it depresses wages for people that are already living there and has a impact on quality of life and economic outlooks for people that already live there, and along with that, unemployment rates, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And Naked Ape is taking the position that it very much does negatively impact the people that are living there, and Destiny was taking the position of no, it does not. And Naked Ape already had Destiny angry by employing a squawking laugh on purpose that was much higher pitched than his normal laugh, right into the fucking mic. And you could see Destiny seething, and it's like, what a great example of someone not being able to handle the medicine that they deal out to others. Meaning, the most frustrating person Destiny could ever meet would be himself.
Probably, yeah. I've seen the man debate more recent issues, and he seems to have calmed the fuck down.
I believe he has. I agree.
A great deal. He's gone through several maturity arcs.
I would agree with that. At that time, though, he was not even like full-time debater. He was just a guy who, more than anything, was a gamer that would just fancied himself a really bright guy,
right?
Who could debate. When reality, he was very good at some of the tactics of debate in terms of throwing your opponent off by making them very, very angry and gish galloping over them with a whole series of let me list off 15 things. And
he's gotten better with not doing that. As of recent, I noticed that he's been writing down his opponent's talking points, and then he either addresses them all in bulk the way that they presented them, by the order that they presented them, or he goes, hey, if you want to have the one discussion like 1 point to 1 point discussion, we can do that, but you need to like stop after the first point so that we can argue that point and then move on. That I've noticed has happened a lot more frequently because I have been watching a lot more Destiny, specific to like the Red Pill arc, if you're not familiar. The Andrew Tate shenanigans going on last month, basically. The have you ever heard of Andrew Tate?
I have. Yep.
Yeah. So there were a few discussions panels done on Fresh and Fit, which is where Andrew Tate has frequented a few times. And there were debates with a few other red pillars about the ideology behind the mass red pill ideology, and how some of the stuff is not entirely healthy, and like the middle ground that you have to come to, because like there are truths that the red pill community does espouse about the dating scene and women and men and their roles in society, but at the same time, the takeaway, if not corrected for, that some people can come away with, can be a little bit dangerous, misogynistic, and unhealthy in the long term for interpersonal relationships between the genders, regardless of your intentions, essentially, right. Was his, I guess, take on that. And I actually found myself agreeing with him a lot on that aspect, but I also found myself agreeing with the red pillars in a few aspects, depending on what it was that they were talking about. Because like I said, there are truths that they were espousing that were true. And a lot of the people on the left, so Destiny's side, have a really hard time accepting certain truths about reality. And as a result, have a really hard time fixing the problems that stem from those truths in reality. And anyway, sorry. To come back to what I was saying is, he's doing a lot better than he was 5 years ago in terms of the way that he handles combatants on the internet. Like, it's been 5 years. I don't see him doing a lot of the things that you talk about that he was doing in the discussion with the Naked Ape 5 years ago. Although I haven't seen it yet, so it would be interesting to see the differentiation between Destiny now and Destiny then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I have seen Destiny, and he has like lightened up. I like the idea of he's gone through multiple maturity arcs. That's kind of a funny way of putting it.
Well, I think we all do as time progresses.
You know,
I certainly have.
Yeah.
I think we have to grant that to people. Just generally speaking, we recognize that we're not the same person that we were 5 years ago, and we won't be in 5 years, and that goes for everyone that we've ever met too. We're gonna get that up. We're gonna get that dono.
Thank you for your patronage.
Thank you, Zerial, for the $5 super chat. I'm in the past and around where you talked about metformin and had to say that, after my doc prescribed. Oh, I think we're missing part of that super chat. Zerial, if you want to append the rest. Oh, never mind. Zerial, thank you for the $5. Me, the drug for newly diagnosed type 2. I read the side effects and was like, nope, not taking this. Well, from what I understand, the side effects are only bad for a little bit if you're not regular with it, and if you don't ease into it and you don't take it with, like, after meals.
Thank you for your patronage.
So I'm hoping that I don't have those issues. I haven't had those issues, and I've been on it for 24 hours, but it's only been 24 hours, so. Sam's like, how dare you accuse me of maturation? I'm so fresh, you get the idea. But no, I mean it, like, we grow as people, just generally speaking.
Discombobulator rather than a debater.
We're talking about...
I was just reading what Sam wrote there. If one does go watch modern day debates, the channel, there's a lot that's interesting on there and a lot that's very much not. And yeah, Destiny is a mainstay. I don't think it would be unfair to describe him as that because
He's a regular.
Yeah. I don't know. Some of the stuff that he chooses to accept debates on, it's like, why?
Well, because that's his career.
Yeah, I guess.
It's good for the exposure factor. If that makes sense.
I guess. Does one want
It's
a career
good
as a
content.
professional debater?
Well, that's kind of what his branding is now.
It is. Not okay. I guess you gotta, brand some.
It's if that's what he wants to do full time, like more power to him,
Yeah, far be it for me to tell someone what to do with their content online.
Right.
It's just the. I'm surprised that modern day debates, as many people as that I know talk about it. I think it tells you something about the circles, how small they can be that you move in without realizing it, because the views are not nearly as high as to be commensurate with the amount of discussion that they get.
Right. Well, I think people also clip the modern day debates as well, and they put them on their own channels. And I'm pretty sure modern day debate lets them do that unencumbered, so they don't. They get that exposure as well for their channel.
True. Actually, that is true, because there's a number of people that I watched that ended up on modern day debates did post the entirety of the debate like a week later, which must be part of the understanding.
Mm-hmm.
We get first crack at it on our channel, and then after a week has elapsed, go ahead and post it on your own.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Here's an auto wreck in Washington, D.C. in 1921 that's been colorized.
Ooh. It doesn't look all that bad, honestly. I mean, you could just pop a new wheel on that and call it a day.
Yeah. A new wooden wheel.
Right? As opposed to current day, when crashing your Tesla would result in a catastrophic totaling of your entire vehicle and several hundreds of $1,000s of replacement parts in the form of a whole new vehicle. Because this is part of the reason why I'll never own a Tesla. The cost to repair a Tesla vehicle with like slight cosmetic damage, or even just, not more than substantive cosmetic damage to the actual body of the vehicle, or like a part. The cost to replace those parts is actually more expensive than just purchasing a whole new Tesla. Because from what I understand, they don't make a whole lot of replacement parts for Teslas. Every replacement part has to come from another Tesla that could be on the line getting made and getting shipped to some poor sap who wants to buy a Tesla.
So, meaning what? There literally are no replacement parts? So you got to buy a whole new car, or it's like a whole section that you have to replace of the vehicle, not just parts?
You're better off replacing your entire vehicle than just getting a new part, is what I understand.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
There is a guy who had a white Tesla down the street from me, all right? And I would walk around the block 5 times a day, every week, and I would see it there, just parked in his, spot. And then, like a couple months ago, I was doing my rounds, and all of a sudden there was a dark blue Tesla parked there. And I'm like, now either this man just got a whole nother car, or he spent however much money getting that Tesla repainted.
Yeah.
Or covered in a sticker.
As I thought it was a female driver originally too, but no, it's a man.
God damn it. Polly!
I'm just saying. Well, what? Snoopy made the call that I hear you, Snoopy. I thought it was a female driver to begin with too. I mean, crash car. It's a safe assumption.
Okay, you know what? Just because there's a stereotype around females. Okay, there might be a stereotype around females being bad drivers, but insurance rates speak for themselves, and there is a reason why men under the age of 25 pay more in car insurance than women under the age of 25, and it's because men get into more accidents.
It is because of sexism, you're right.
It's because men get into more accidents.
Women may not get in accidents, but they're the cause of millions.
Yeah. Okay. Sure, Polly.
I'm going to leave that one to Bacon Noodle, and I'll be right back in just a second. And, oh, somebody already took care of the sex bots. Thank you very much.
Yeah. That's a persistent sex bot. That's the third time I've had to, like, hide their messages.
When the sex bots first arrived on my channel, I was like, yeah!
I've made it!
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my little channel, it's gotten noticed by the sex bots.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
I'll just
Okay, I'll be right back.
mod Sam so that he has the ability to take care of the sex bots. Because I know that he wants to take care of the sex bots for me. Right, Sam? But men drive more, so yeah. They do. Now, I want you to know, chat, that you should not use me and my interpersonal relationship with a boyfriendo and our experiences driving as any indicator of exactly how accurate these stereotypes and statistics are. For reasons. Just putting that out there. I thought it might have been grandma driving. Nope, that's definitely a dude. Weebo, what happened to your thumb? Oh, I sliced it open yesterday making food with a knife. Sam, you can also be trusted enough to be a mod. Yeah, I sliced open my thumb. I got one of those fancy vegetable slicer thingies. It's like... If you're... It's like a cheese grater. The one side of the cheese grater where you get just like the one individual slice of cheese, except it's sharper and it's specifically just that thing. So I was slicing my vegetables and then I went to go clean the thing, so I ejected the blade. And when I ejected the blade, I used my thumb against the blade and I used it as leverage to pull it out, and I ended up essentially just slicing my thumb open. And yeah, now that I'm reenacting it for you, it feels like I have the phantom hurt feeling, like ooh, cringe. But yeah, so it's been sliced open significantly, and I'm trying to air it out, but it's no longer bleeding. It just hurts. I accidentally got jalapeno juice in there this afternoon. It was not fun. I think she misspoke, Rat, but we're now the same person. No, you're not the same person. You just both get mod powers. Chiefly because, Sam, I trust you because I've talked to you interpersonally, and Rat, because we're streaming co-hosts. And I know that at some point Sam and I are also going to be streaming co-hosts. Or at least, not co-hosts, what's the word that I'm looking for? Collaborators in content? Does that make sense? Yeah, I think so. At one time, we have been on stream together. That's like my threshold, basically. For what makes a good mod. As if we're friendly on some level. Like if I know intimate details about your personal life. And I guess we can give Darth Mando one of those as well. Do-do-do-do. Add moderator. But use it wisely, sir, because I can just as easily take it away as I can give it out. Yep, mandolins are very sharp. It wasn't a mandolin. It was one of those vegetable cutters. It hurt like a bitch, and I was bleeding profusely over my finger. Out of my finger. But now I have a really cool scar on the tip of my thumb. Hey. But I wonder, can I open up my online banking with it? Like, yeah, okay, that doesn't impede me from opening my phone. We're good. Smokey Rat says he's not a troublemaker. He may heckle, but not really intending to cause trouble. Exactly. I don't think so. I didn't think you were. I just wish I wasn't so blue now. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you blue. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles, my friend. Yeah, the vegetable slicer's called a mandolin or sometimes a julienne. Is it really? Is it really? I don't think it is.
A vegetable slicer is named after a round-backed Sicilian guitar, a mandolin.
That doesn't sound right. That
No, it
sounds
doesn't, does it?
false.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Hang on. We're gonna look it up. Dora. Are you serious? It is called mandolin.
No.
Yeah, it is.
No.
I swear to God. It is. I kid you not. Here you go. It's mandolin. The mandolin is a cooking utensil used to cut firm vegetables or fruits in different shapes, disc slices, juliennes. It can also be called a vegetable slicer.
Fuck.
The fuck? Exactly. My thoughts exactly. Now I'm
Focus on the
angry.
sex bot, Sam. Quit telling us about your weird
Yeah.
sugar spoons and
Yeah.
your guitar slicers.
Exactly. I modded you for a reason. Why are there like 4 messages of sex botness in the chat? This is unacceptable. Weebo and Polydub, the Mariners are going to the freaking playoffs, and I am still pumped. Hashtag Chaos Ball from Jedi Ghost Bear. Congratulations.
Yeah, they are. You want to see that fucking drive?
Go sports ball
Holy
team.
Fuck.
What kind of sports ball?
It was fucking something.
Oh.
Yeah, hold on. Let me scroll. Fucking bottom of the 9th. There we go. Are you just capturing the screen, or are you capturing... Hold on.
I'm capturing audio as well, I believe.
Are you?
Yeah.
I don't think you are. Don't you have to be capturing the application for that?
I have desktop audio on. So
Okay.
if I hear it, they'll hear it.
Gotcha. Okay. That's in big and 8. Come on in big and 8.
Oh, you tagged me in this, didn't you? I've been busy editing videos all day. I'm sorry. Nope, I don't hear anything. Stream volume is all the way up. Do you have your Twitter volume all the way up?
Okay. Yeah, this is really loud. I didn't quite catch what you're saying. What'd you say?
Oh, yeah, I can't hear it at all.
Okay, so you're going to have to capture the application.
I can't hear the stream volume at all, is the issue. Am I not doing this right? Yeah, I'm watching the stream. I don't think you're broadcasting audio.
No, I am, because I can hear it.
No, you can hear it, but we can't at all. I said, I think
we can't. Have you turned...
the audio is up for me in Discord.
Weebo. So, double click on a little cog. It's on the bottom corner of your cap screen, and click
Okay.
Change Windows.
Okay, alright.
All right. And instead of clicking Select Screen, select Application.
Ah! Wait, okay.
Yeah.
So,
And then select the application, which is like, the separate window for this baseballs.
yeah. So, I have it. I've selected. Okay, so in Discord, I have your stream selected.
You still can't hear it.
I can't hear it, so I think maybe you're not broadcasting sound.
I don't understand.
Discord.
Listen, there's no such thing as I am or am not broadcasting sound into Discord. That's not
Yes,
an option.
yes,
Somebody
it
cannot
is.
choose
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. You cannot choose to let me broadcast sound into Discord. That's not a thing.
No, yes, it is. I swear to God, it is. Here, if I go, share my screen. In applications versus in screens, there's a difference. So if I choose screen, it says sound may not be available when sharing a screen on your device. But if I choose applications, there is no such issue. So if you're sharing the application screen, it is different.
I will give you such a shake when you okay. I'm telling you, have no boyfriend over there when we meet, because there's gonna be like 10 minutes worth of shaking that I have not stored. So he's like, all right, man, you made your point. Back off. Okay.
Yeah,
all
but
right.
like the stream volume is all the way up.
Oh, Look, I went into settings and I found the broadcast into Discord button, so it's fine now.
Well,
There we
now I
go.
can hear it. There you go.
Oh, yay.
Big entries, a winning record in June, July, August, and now in September. And the Mariners knocking on the
Okay, the Mariners have been well, nobody's for longer than Jedi Ghost Bear wants to admit. Okay, it's just a thing. They're not like my awesome Nationals or anything.
Right.
Yeah, but this was an epic moment
Okay.
in baseball in general, but for a Mariners fan.
Was it kind of like
particularly.
when the Cubs won the World Series in
No, I wouldn't
2016?
go quite that far yet,
Okay.
but it's like this was an amazing hit. Watch, like I said, bottom of the ninth, and watch what happens. It's 3-2. They're down, and watch this.
2001. Here's the stretch. The 3-2 pitch.
Fuck yeah! Oh God!
Holy shit.
Look at him! That was fuck. I want to see that drive again. I mean, he nailed it. Like, fucking nailed it. It was.
Since 2001. Here's the stretch. The 3-2 pitch.
Oh, it's gone, man. It's fucking gone.
Woo.
They're not even waiting for him to run the big. They're just waiting for him at home base, right? Where it's like, oh my God, you son of a bitch. Like,
So I have a question.
uh-huh.
In baseball, I don't know if this is actually like the case or not, but like you get a home run. Do you actually have to run the bases, or do you just get that point? Is running the bases?
Yes.
Okay.
Is a requirement, yeah. Because there was already people on base, so
Right.
it's like they make it all the way in, and so there's no way that anybody like an outfielder can catch the ball, or
Right.
well, not catch the ball, but run and get the ball. Because they catch it, it's an automatic out. But if to run and get the ball and then throw it to, like, let's say the person's running from second to third base, who's already waiting for the batter to hit, and then that person gets tagged out or gets tagged out at home or whatever the fuck. No, there's no chance. The ball's gone, so everyone who's on bases makes it home. Including the person who was at home base who was just batting. So that was enough points to put them over the top. Boom, they won. And it was bottom of the ninth. It's theirs. They won.
Okay.
Because there's no chance for the other team to come up and score more points. So that's it. So that
Gotcha.
one fucking hit, down to it. I mean, imagine the pressure on this guy.
To not miss.
They yelled, "A 20-year drought!" Like, it's holy smokes, he did it! Like, I mean, it's all down to this one fucking thing, man. Imagine the pressure, and the guy as the saying goes, stepped up to the plate, right? And yeah, he did it, man. Hold on, one more time. I just want to see him hit that. Like, it was so solid. It's not even like he kind of got it. No, he got it. It was.
Wait, actually, I'm just going to mute the audio for everyone else because apparently this is copyrighted audio and video. I'm getting a warning.
Major League Baseball? You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
That's surprising that they would do that.
Is it though? Is it really?
No, it's not at all.
Yeah, I'm getting a warning that says, "Heads up, we've detected copyrighted audio and video in your stream. Your stream may be temporarily blocked." So if we go down, chat, it's all Polly's fault. He just had to get that audio in there.
Hey, it was worth it to see baseball history. Am I right? Yeah, I'm right.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I never thought of Major League Sports as being particularly litigious about their content.
It's anyone's game.
Just,
I
you
mean,
could
the
just-
copywriting is anyone's game, but the baseball is obviously, clearly, it's the Mariners' game.
I have to wonder why aren't like Major League? So why isn't Major League Baseball blocking people sharing tweets of the video then?
I don't know.
Because Twitter can't be monetized in the same way that YouTube can, so there isn't the same kind of profiteering possibilities?
Perhaps? Maybe?
I don't know.
I am not one with the litigious copywriter peoples, so that's a question for them at some point. Why do big corporate people make big corporate decisions that affect the little man and essentially affect their outreach?
Yeah.
Right, because, like, okay, so when PewDiePie was streaming video games to his massive audience and doing, like, Let's Plays and whatnot, that was wonderful exposure for new indie video games that were up and coming. Yeah. And you had to have been suicidal as a game dev to, like, take those down for copyright reasons. Now, Nintendo does do this, from what I understand. They are incredibly anal about their copyright, so that's why you don't see a whole lot of, like, Nintendo playthroughs as opposed to literally any other game. But it was, like, it was a symbiotic relationship in that PewDiePie got big off of his Let's Play reactions, and those video games also got big as PewDiePie got big as well. And so it was a lot of exposure on both parts, and so it was beneficial to both parties. Sports Ball, they could have the same outreach, but for a different audience, because the same people that are on YouTube are not the same people that watch a whole lot of Sports Ball. At least not typically. They're kind of, they can be, there can be some overlap there, but there's not a whole lot of overlap there. No, I don't have a statistic on this to actually say that for certain, but that's my speculation. So there are two different crowds. And I'm only going based off of the fact that I exist. And
what? That's what you were going off of?
Yeah, just... Well, I'm also a girl. But, like, my cousins who are super into Sports Ball don't do a whole lot of online content absorption. Whereas I'm not super into Sports Ball, and I don't do a whole lot of Sports Ball absorption, but I do a lot of online content absorption. So, like, I know who Chris Chan is, but they do not. But, like, there are spheres of the internet. And
he was trending yesterday, Chris Chan. Why?
I don't actually know.
Did he escape? Because that was a rumor.
That was a rumor.
Yeah, it was a great rumor. I mean, it.
Well, I think we can... Where did my mouse go? I lost my mouse. I think I'm going crazy, Polly. There it is. Okay. Oh, no. I could just look at Twitter and ask the internet why Chris Chan was trending. Go to most recent. Top. Latest. Could it have been because of this lovely image here? And hang on, you're gonna have to wait. This lovely image right here.
Oh, it's all pixelated. You are in general, so I can't quite see it. What I mean, it's Chris Chan wearing the classic, and I see the Sonichu medallion, but
it's an animated, cutesy, like anime girlfriend picture of Chris Chan.
Oh.
I don't know, but this was like September 30th that someone put this up, and it got 16,000 retweets and 4,000 quote tweets and 179k likes. So apparently it was a big deal. Here, I'll send it to you in the poly image dump.
All right.
Because that's what I made that for.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, now I can actually... God.
Yep. Did we get knocked off the internet?
Did we?
I don't know. Chat, did we get knocked off the internet? By,
Litigious bastards?
Litigious bastards, exactly, yeah. Is that what happened? I'm seeing no, so I'm hoping that sustains. Okay, good.
Well, hey.
Cheers.
No. Okay.
Okay. I'll, like, tweak it later on.
Not yet.
Not yet. Hi. Can I help you? Can I help you? Oh, hello. we're using this in action.
Try harder. Yeah, well, we will. It's fine. It's let's just start playing musical selections.
Got 'em. Yeah, you know what? I should probably play the whole soundtrack of Encanto.
I went over to on my birthday stream, I played an entirety of a Michael Jackson track, live performance.
Yeah.
It didn't even come up as content claimed,
Well,
much
that's
less
'cause Michael Jackson's
a strike
dead.
or anything like that. Well, he's dead, but there's a hell of a lot of, rest in peace, there are a hell of a lot of people that own his music. And you think they'd be like running around and claiming everything they can just to squeeze a few fucking pennies out of any stone they can find.
Right. Probably. So you know how copyright works on like.
That echo's great. Doc, thank you for the $5. Christian probably thinks he looks like this via Deadpool with a knife in his head. Tear delusions. I really do believe after watching, oh God, what part is it now? 63 episodes of the Chris Chan comprehensive documentary series. But yeah, he sees himself wildly different than as he appears to everybody else.
That happens, I think, with a lot of people, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I don't know if it reaches dysmorphic levels with the woman, whatever, but...
Well, I think dysmorphia, doesn't that entail, like, not that you see yourself as something different than what you actually are, but it's, like, you don't feel right? Like, you're aware of the disconnect between your mind and your body. Whereas Chris Chan is not aware. He is so he has deluded himself into, hang on. It works. He's deluded himself into this massive internal conspiracy about the dimensional merge and who he is in all of the grand scheme of things. And only he can see it, but the rest of the world can't. But he's like very convinced of his own delusions. I'm not super informed on this, mind you, so I could be just speaking out of my ass, but that's what I understand it to be.
Yeah, smoking right, you're not wrong. I saw this picture first years ago, and it still makes me laugh. It's so wrong, but it's so funny.
What is it?
The one that's up on screen right now.
I know that, but I mean, like, what is it of?
Okay, it's Lee Harvey Oswald. That's the guy in the center holding the microphone, getting shot by the guy on the right, which is Jack Ruby, being quote unquote protected by the guy on the left in the white or tan suit, actually named Jim Cavell, who's a police officer escorting him out of the Dallas City Police headquarters. Like, and he's being shot. That's why he's got that look on his face. And somebody photoshopped it to him holding a mic, and they photoshopped a guitar into Jack Ruby's hands and a keyboard in front of Jim Cavell, and then bothered to put like spray paint on the wall behind so it looks like they're in a nightclub or something. And Lee Harvey Oswald's just like rocking out. This
is funny.
Like, it's so wrong. That's a man dying. Oswald died, a couple minutes later. It's horrible, but it's really just dark and funny. It makes me laugh.
I appreciate those kind of memes myself.
Yeah, because it really does look like Oswald's rocking the fuck out, man. He's in the moment. And it's like, no. He's just getting gut shot with a 38. Bell is leaning back, not because he's like hitting the keyboard and rolling. He's just like, he's moving back from a gunshot being fired only a few feet from him.
So is your job as a bodyguard to take the bullet for your client? Or is it to, like, get them out of the path of the bullet and anticipate those issues? Or, like, does it depend on the tier bodyguard that you got? Like, there's tier 1 bodyguards that just are supposed to be able to anticipate that, and then tier 2 bodyguards, which are like, we take the bullet for you kind of bodyguards.
It's one of amongst 100 plus things. Those are just the main things, if you count the 100 plus things that were going on in Dallas in the few days before and the few days after John Kennedy's assassination that are just like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you ask, like, what is the job of the bodyguard? Well, it wasn't just Cavell. Everybody in that basement, except for a few reporters, was law enforcement. There was FBI down there. There was Dallas State Police. There were fucking Dallas detectives. There were Dallas patrolmen. Holy fuck, how many fucking people does it take to protect one fucking guy? And there's Jack Ruby just, he's down there. He's armed. And
Wait, so who was Jack Ruby again?
he was a Dallas nightclub owner, the
Okay.
club called the Carousel. It was like a titty joint. He knew a bunch of cops. And there becomes the thing. How did he get down there? He'd be like, well, he just walked down the ramp. Like if you're in a basement, they'll have a ramp to drive up. And it's like he just straight up walked down the ramp. And then other people are like, wait, he would have been seen by a whole bunch of people. And you're not just allowed to walk down those ramps, especially when it's being secured, when the most high-profile criminal in the country, the guy who just shot the president and a Dallas City patrolman, J.D. Tippit, an hour later, 45 minutes after he allegedly shot Kennedy. This is, like I said, the most high-profile person in custody in the United States. And so you think you kind of, like, secure the area where he is, that kind of thing. And Ruby just jumps out and goes, Oswald! And shoots him live because the on TV. It's argued to be the first time a live killing was shown on TV because, holy fuck, the sex bots.
I know. What is up with the sex bot? I'm half tempted to check out this adult dating site now. Not because I have a lack of boyfriend.
Well, it's not just...
But like,
it's not just any dating site. It's the best adult dating site.
Right. So I'm intrigued. I need to check it out. Maybe I'm looking for a throuple. I don't know. You're not supposed to knock things till you try them, Polly. As so I've been told.
Yeah.
No, but okay. So Doc says r/pretend like you belong. Could it have very much been a case of, like, you just walk into a place and you pretend like you belong so convincingly that people don't even question it? Because that happens a lot.
It does, and I've done it myself.
Right.
Like the hospital incident. I belong here. I'm a researcher from the university. Let me in the back door, and they did. Mm-hmm. And I got where I was going a lot faster. Mm-hmm. But with Ruby, it was more than that. He knew a fuck ton of cops that all hung out at his club. And so did he go there and he didn't walk down the ramp at all. He was simply let in one of the multiple back doors by one of the guys he had on the Dallas City Police. He wasn't just friendly with a few of them. He absolutely knew them. Come by. Cops drank for free. They let Ruby beat the shit out of people that had gotten violent or had tried grabbing one of the girls or whatever. Ruby would act as his own bouncer. He had bouncers there, but he was a tough guy. He was a bagman for the Dallas mob. He worked under Carlos Marcello and the Campeses, who were captains under Carlos Marcello. Mm-hmm. And so he was a mob guy. Yes, he was Jewish, but like I said, he was a bagman for them. He was a collections guy for them.
Right.
And the Dallas police guys detectives and whatnot, would just stand by while Ruby beat the shit out of somebody and then take that guy into custody and haul him off. He was on that level of being well known. And it's like, how are you operating in this way as an obvious mob associate and a violent man? And the police aren't doing anything about you? Well, because he was giving them all free drinks and he was paying them off. And it's standard practice. Nothing actually particularly odd or uncommon about what was going on there. So the idea that somebody would just simply let him in because he wanted to be there, that wouldn't be odd. But what's more than that is what's called the midnight press conference, when they first brought out when Captain Fritz first comes out to talk. Ruby was there. You see the camera pan across the room, and there's Jack Ruby standing at the back of the room. He wasn't just there when Ruby was being when Oswald was being transported. He was there every time that Oswald was being brought out. Now, some people are going to look at that and say because he was just very interested in the biggest story in town. Other people are going to look at that and say because he was stalking the guy to fucking kill him.
Well, I think we know what the intention was, because eventually, didn't he?
He did shoot him.
Right.
And what was his reason for doing so? He wanted to spare Jackie Kennedy the trauma of having to testify at Oswald's trial.
Noble, but I don't believe that.
You don't buy that? Huh. Sounds like a perfectly plausible story for me. I mean, it's not like he was convicted and went to jail for it or something, which he did.
You know, okay, so I hear all these things about the Kennedy assassination and how it's like super sketchy, but I don't actually know a whole lot about it. Not like I know about the Epstein suicide.
Right.
So the sketchiness is kind of sort of very lost on me. So I hear things about the assassination in isolation from everything that I think is like the bigger picture that exists. And I just kind of brush it off because I'm like, oh, here's an explanation, here's a coincidence. But it would be interesting to hear like a well put together, or at least research what all encompasses that whole sketchiness surrounding that event in history.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's more than enough books on it, and they'll all point at somebody different. It was the Russians, it was the Cubans, it was the CIA, it was Oswald acting alone, it was Oswald acting with a small cadre of communist supporters. It was, the list goes on and on. It was aliens, it was the Illuminati. Every book will, and they will generally point the finger at somebody, because you don't write a book just outlining something that happened. If I were to ever write a book on it, I joked years ago, it would just simply be called One Strange Day in Dallas, because there was nobody who wasn't acting strange that day. Everybody's actions are hard to reconcile with normal human behavior.
Yeah.
And great. On the day the president's assassinated, everyone's acting real fucking weird. Or maybe Dallas was just full of really fucking weird people. But I kid you not, when I said it's one of like 100+ things that are just like, what? And you want my personal take on it? It's not very popular, but it's, Oswald did the shooting. And that is a really unpopular opinion. It's like, no, come on. Someone shot from the grassy knoll. And it's like, look, here's my take. There's enough evidence to draw suspicion to it, more than enough. I like to focus on Dealey Plaza itself, because the further you get, which is where Kennedy was shot, right? Mm-hmm. The further you get from Dealey Plaza in both space and time, the deeper your rabbit hole gets. And you will spend the rest of your life looking into it. So
you're saying I shouldn't?
How old are you now, Weebo?
I'll be 25 in April. 25,
okay. But Oswald died when he was 24 years old. He was killed here in this picture, this Photoshop picture, when he was 24 years old. By the time he was 24 years old, he had lived on his own for a long time, entered the Marine Corps, passed basic training, before the Marine Corps had served in the Civil Air Patrol, the CAP, in like prep to go join the Marine Corps. So from like 16, joined the Civil Air Patrol. As soon as he could sign up for the Marine Corps, he did. Communist sympathizer, knew the Communist Manifesto back and forth, dog-eared, underlined.
Red flag.
Red flag,
Quite
but yet
literally.
joins the Marine Corps. Like, okay. Asks for a hardship discharge because he has to take care of his mother. Then he buys a ticket after getting, and he does get his discharge. His mother actually doesn't need the assistance, and he doesn't go to assist her anyway because he defects to Russia, to the Soviet Union. And the only way to get there is like up and over and down and through Helsinki and then a train in. Pops up in Moscow, where he promptly goes to the American embassy, hands over his passport, and declares his intention to defect to the Soviet Union and make known to them all of the information he has as a Marine Corps Marine. The job that he had was at I'm going to say it properly here, at Sugi Air Base in Japan, where they monitored and controlled the U-2 spy flights over Russia. And he was one of the radar operators. Okay. And this, amongst other things, is some of the secret information that he declares that he's going to hand over to the Russians at the American embassy. Okay, so he does so. They say, you shouldn't go ahead with this. I want you to think about it before you do this. He goes,
Consider.
yeah. And then he tells, he meets with the Russians and tells them that he's going to, this is my intention to defect. And he's there for 2.5 years. And this whole odyssey of him trying to, I want to stay, I'm going to stay. No, we're actually not going to allow you to stay. The Russian, I won't drag you through the whole detail of it. It was a super short, inaccurate version of it. They decide at one point that they're not going to let him stay. So he dips his wrists in a ice water bath in his hotel bathroom sink to numb his arm and cuts his wrists. Because, hey, if I'm suicided or, I have to be hospitalized, you can't kick me out, can't make me leave. Which is, well, the assertion. Anyway, they did, upon that, act, did allow him to stay, extended the stay that he was allowed for, and then did end up staying, being relocated to Minsk, where he worked in a radio factory. He meets a woman, Marina Prusakova, whom he marries, has a child with, and then, you know what? I don't want to be in Russia anymore. And redefects back to America because his passport and his citizenship were never actually officially revoked. So now he's back and brings his wife with him, his Russian wife and their child.
This guy was 25?
Or, he
24?
did all this. He did all of that when he was between 20 and 23.
What the fuck?
Think about that for a second.
I haven't done anything nearly as that is like 3 degrees of life alteration in as many years.
He gets back disillusioned with Russia. He doesn't see Russia as the communist ideal. He begins to focus in on Fidel Castro's revolution in Cuba as the manifestation of the communist ideal. So he becomes a big supporter of Cuba and the communist revolution there. So what does he start doing? He starts going and visiting anti-Castro Cuban groups, where he was spending that summer of 1963 in New Orleans, meeting up with anti-Castro Cubans, saying, hey, I'm a former Marine, I can help, I want to help train you guys how to make explosives and do guerrilla warfare, because you guys want to go to Cuba and fight against Castro, right? And while he's doing this, he writes to the Fair Play for Cuba Committee, the largest group supporting Castro in America, and says, I want to start my own chapter of the Fair Play for Cuba Committee here in New Orleans. He says, well, because there was no chapter there. And the New York headquarters says, no, we don't want it there. We appreciate your support and we appreciate your interest. Oswald says, fuck them. And working at the photographic place where he's currently working, creates a number of fake IDs, including one, which is a membership card at the Fair Play for Cuba Committee, that he completely generated and fabricated. And put himself down as member number 555 to make it look like there were a fuck ton of them when it was actually just him. And then created another fake ID for him. So the name, Lee was a strange name. They thought of it as a Korean name.
Yeah.
They didn't see it as, and then Harvey, it's a Das Harvey. Like, I don't know. It doesn't mean they called him Alec, A-L-I-K as a nickname. So, and he comes up with this Fidel, Heidel, A.J. Heidel. Get it? So anyway, he's got this ID with this photographic ID that he created, a selective service card in this false ID. And with that fake ID, through a magazine ad, orders a rifle, a 6.5 millimeter Mannlicher Carcano, as well as a .38 Special pistol, revolver. Now, why didn't he just walk into a store, a gun store, in Texas, and buy a gun with cash that could never be traced to him? Instead, he buys it under this name, with this fake name, and has it shipped to a P.O. box that he purchased and registered with that name. When he's arrested on the day of the killing, he doesn't have his own ID on him, but he does have the ID of A.J. Heidel on him. So this man, who's actually pretty smart and wily and cagey, turns out to make some pretty stupid moves when it comes right down to it. See what I mean? Like, everyone acting really odd. It's hard to make sense of.
Right.
One of the famous series of photographs of him is, or video of him, is him passing out leaflets, hands off Cuba for the Fair Play for Cuba Committee. And then somebody calls the people that he had, the anti-Castro Cubans that he had approached, to saying, you know, that guy that was down there, Lee Harvey Oswald, or Lee Oswald? Yeah. He goes, well, he's down on Canal Street handing out pro-Castro leaflets. You should go down there and stop him. Who the fuck called? No one knows. The person he called, Carlos Bringuer, who was the head of that anti-Castro group, says, fuck yeah, let's go down there. And they do. And there they are. News crews were also called. Who called them? No one knows. To say that there's a fight happening. They show up. There's no fight happening. But minutes later, there was. When Carlos Bringuer and his tough guys showed up to confront Oswald and grab his papers, his leaflets that he was throwing. You fucking hypocrite! You came to us. You said that you were going to, help us fight Castro, and here you are supporting Castro. This is you're a communist. You're handing out communist propaganda. So the news crews accidentally arrived before the fight started because somebody knew that there was going to be a fight and called video cameras to record it, or news crews to record it, except they showed up before the fight actually started because Bringuer and his group hadn't shown up yet. Weird. So they all get carted off to jail when the police show up, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like a street fight. They all pay their $50 fine and are gone. Oswald refuses to pay the fine and then is thus booked and charged with disturbing the peace. So now under his own name, he's booked as a pro-communist, pro-Castro supporter that has been beaten up and harassed by anti-Castro Cubans. Why? Why not just pay the $50 and go home, Lee? Everyone else did. But do you see what I mean? It just goes on and on and on.
So you're saying, like, he had the opportunity to get away with it, and he didn't, like, do everything in his power to? Or
no, he didn't at all. So what he does do, though, and this is where people read into it. Again, there's a whole bunch of different ways you can read into it. He takes news reports, newspaper clippings of this street fight. He takes evidence of the fact that he defected to the Soviet Union and lived there for 2.5 years. He takes stuff from his, puts one of the leaflets that he was handing out on Canal Street that day, creates a folder basically of his bona fides as being a friend to the communist revolution in Cuba, like a little package he puts together. And 6 weeks before November 22nd, 1963, when Kennedy was assassinated, takes a bus trip down to Mexico City because it's the closest place to him where there's a Cuban embassy. And what does he do there? The same thing he did when he went to Russia.
attempts to defect.
He attempts to defect to fucking Cuba.
Wait, what about his wife and child?
He wants to take them with him.
Okay. He's not all that bad.
And Marina, being interviewed later, said this was another one of Lee's ideas, yet never knew what he was up to. I never had any idea what he was going to try or pull next. I mean, the list goes on with the guy. The amount of stuff that Lee Harvey Oswald got involved with from the time he returned from Russia to the time that he killed Kennedy is unbelievable. From his time in Louisiana to the time that he moved to Dallas later on. Off to Mexico City, back, forth, all these. Now think about this. All of this, by the time he was 24, how many of us have taken command of our lives in that way? I mean, he was wrong. He was a communist, so therefore I'm very much not only ideologically opposed to the man, but I consider him, and everyone should, at the time and now, consider him a very real national security threat, this guy. Not only, they say, oh, well, he's a loon. Well, he's a dangerous loon. But yet, you have to look at the guy and say, well, there's one thing he wasn't, which is lazy and unfocused.
He had a mission. That's apparent.
But Sam says it's easy to see why the uninitiated might suspect him of being a three-letter asset. Yeah, absolutely. But which agency? FBI and CIA don't get along. Didn't get along then any more than they get along now. The idea of the nonstop cooperation between them is, well, FBI agents call CIA officers clowns in action. CIA. Ridiculous jokes back and forth, right? It's institutional rivalry, and plus they're in a lot of places they have overlapping responsibilities where the FBI is constantly trying to do foreign intelligence, which is strictly against their mandate, and the CIA is constantly trying to do domestic intelligence, which is strictly against their mandate.
Right.
It's like, yeah, well, our authorities, the people that we're tracking are in and out of the country and so on and so forth. So and my point is they're constantly ending up in each other's backyards. He was a paid informant for the FBI, but then all the information he was handing to the FBI was bunk. That much was revealed through the Warren Commission reports. Strange. Oswald shows up at FBI headquarters 1 week before the assassination and writes a letter to Special Agent James Hosty, who had visited Oswald's home a number of times because Oswald was a former Soviet defector. So, keep track of this guy. What's he up to? Where's he going? And it was the FBI, after all. They were communist obsessed.
Right.
And rightly so. But still. Oswald shows up at FBI, the local branch headquarters, and writes a letter for Hosty, because Hosty wasn't in the office at this time. After the assassination, Hosty admits under oath that the special agent in charge told him to destroy the note that Oswald wrote for him, which he promptly did. Why? The police officers who questioned Oswald after his arrest on Canal Street for handing out those leaflets also destroyed their notes of the interrogation. Why? They said we just didn't see any need to keep them. That's what Hosty said too. That's what the special agent in charge of Hosty, of the branch division, also said. Well, the man's been killed. There's no reason to keep it anymore. What are you fucking kidding me? You're the fucking FBI. You keep records of fucking everything.
Or they should.
Of illegal wiretaps that you weren't supposed to have, you keep records of.
Why is this any different?
Yeah. But yet, as I said, there is no way to tell a consistent story when you hear with the Kennedy assassination. I hear people all the time, and I've read books where people, look, here's what happened.
Right.
There's the only way you can tell a consistent story, whether Oswald did it or CIA did it or FBI did it or the Russians did it or the Cubans did it, whoever the fuck, is to play down and completely go silent on certain bits of information, no matter what version of it you're trying to tell. Because there's monkey wrenches in your story, ample monkey wrenches in your story, no matter what version of events you're trying to tell. There's no way to tell a consistent, easy to believe story. But at the end of the day, like I said, if my opinion, if you focus in on just Dealey, what happened? Leaving all the motivations in Oswald's extremely bizarre life up till that point, there's evidence to make you think that there was more than one shooter, but at the end of the day, what is there physical evidence of? One guy shooting. There's one rifle that's found. There's one guy. And it's bizarre as fuck, the shooting that he did. The first shot should have been his best shot. It's when the limousine was the closest. It's when he had the most time to get ready for the shot, and it was his worst one. He completely missed the limousine entirely. It had struck the street beside the limousine. That's how far off he was, and that was his closest shot. The limousine gets further away. He fires the second shot, hits Kennedy in the back of the neck. That's the so-called magic bullet shot, that goes through Kennedy's back, comes out his chest, goes into Connolly's back, comes out his rib cage, goes into Connolly's arm, travels down his arm, comes out his wrist, and embeds itself in Connolly's leg. And then the third shot, the furthest one away, 88 yards away, Oswald shoots with pinpoint precision and infamously hits Kennedy right in the head. What? Do you have any idea how hard it is to hit a moving target at 88 yards with a fucking fixed 4-power scope from a shitty ass 6.5 rifle? Very hard.
Incredibly.
Yeah, and it's like there's debates over how good of a marksman Oswald was after all he was in the Marine Corps and he qualified as nearly a marksman, just shy of being a marksman in terms of his score. And it's like, yeah, okay, but that was years before. And besides, if he was that great of a marksman, how come he didn't nail Kennedy with the first fucking shot? Oh, well, maybe he fucked up. Okay, well, there's a better question. Why did he wait until the motorcade was traveling away from him? You do the turkey funnel shot when it's traveling towards you. Therefore, every second that passes, your target is getting closer and closer to you.
Right.
Instead of aiming out the window to the left, where the street that Kennedy and the motorcade were traveling down were approaching him, he instead chooses to aim out the window at the right, where the limousine's going to get further and further away from him with every passing second. Why? Again, I don't know.
And how did he know the route that they were going to take the day of?
It was published in the newspaper that morning.
Why would you do that?
I have no idea. So people could come. Honestly, though, it was so people could like come and like greet the president.
Okay.
Which they did in droves. The streets were absolutely lined and packed with people. We love you, Mr. President, etc.
The fact that you know so much about this
Demonstrates my autism.
No,
That's mean.
I didn't say that. You said that I didn't. Hey, you know what? The shoe fits. Feel free to lace that bitch up and wear it. No, I was gonna say it's impressive. Sue me.
Oh.
Sorry, I was just trying to pay you a compliment. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Weebo.
it's Yeah, I've spent a little bit of time looking into it. I mean, there's people that I remember reading a book one time where a guy was talking about the research that he had put into it, and he said there's something inherently psychologically unhealthy knowing more about a day some 70 years ago than you know about what happened in your own life last week.
And to be able to rattle it off.
Yeah. All these people that are long since dead and et cetera, where the bullet fragments landed, who bullet fragments hit, where Commission Exhibit 399, the magic bullet, was found, that I even remember the Commission Exhibit number. Like, just, it makes me think that if I only had the power to control what I do and do not remember.
Thank you for your patronage.
Right.
Yeah. I would have gotten all A's, I can tell you that.
Probably, if this was like a class. Thank you, C. Thomas Peasant, for the $2. Armored Polly being Armored Polly. He's actually a pumpkin right now. Or he's an otter with his head in a pumpkin.
Yeah. I remember when I showed that picture to somebody. I said, look at this is adorable. I said, how'd they get the otter to do that? What do you mean? They just put food at the bottom of the otter, at the bottom of the pumpkin.
It's not that hard, duh.
Yeah, the otter's going to stick his face in there.
Maybe the otter's just trying to eat the bottom of the pumpkin. You don't know.
Well, it's a plastic pumpkin. It's like one of them little carry handle things for kids to go around and get candy.
Oh my. Okay, that's fair. Did Kennedy's head disappear, asks Daniel Fullman? Or didn't Kennedy's head disappear? Did it? I don't know. I thought it exploded.
His brain did.
Okay. Where did it go? Everywhere, Weebo.
Yeah,
it disappeared.
During the autopsy, they removed his brain because the back side of the right side of his head was blown right out. So yeah, they did remove his brain because it was half hanging out of his head during the course of the autopsy, and it was, not thrown in the garbage. It was capped and went to the National Archives. When it was requested for a subsequent trial that followed, the National Archives said they had misplaced it and they didn't know where it was.
How do you misplace it?
Because they were hoping to use the brain to track the direction of the bullet. Did it come from the front or the back? And they lost the president's brain.
How do you How do you lose the president?
But right? Like, I mean, Weebo, the list just keeps going. It doesn't stop.
Now I feel inclined to, like, do a deep dive on the Kennedy assassination. Just to fall down the rabbit hole a little bit. Because, you know, I'm lacking in things to do right now. No, I'm not. I have better things I could be doing. But it's like, the more I hear, the more I'm like, I should really look into this so I have some idea of what everyone's freaking talking about. Because everyone always references a magic bullet, and then there's the curved bullet or whatever. I don't know what they're talking about. I just know they're talking about the Kennedy assassination. Because anytime anything comes up with, like, an assassination and something fucky-wucky going on, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, that's where it comes from. Because, I mean, you heard me describe the path that second bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that bullet has to account for 8 wounds? Because they know where the first bullet went.
Mm-hmm.
It struck the ground. How do they know that it struck the ground? Because a fragment of it hit a bystander by the name of James Tagg. Fuck! I can't.
It's okay, Polly.
It's not all right. Okay, anyway.
Right.
He hit a bystander by the name of James Tagg, and nobody was hit in the limousine. And there's no bullet holes in the limousine from straight down, or at that angle, not straight down, but at that angle. So they know that's where the first bullet went. And they know where the third bullet went because, you know, the Zapruder film, it shows the back of Kennedy's head being blown right the hell off. Okay, so, and we think that it was Oswald, and Oswald only fired 3 shots. Because if you want to go with the theory that it was Oswald and Oswald alone, well, you go up to the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository, and there's the little so-called quote-unquote sniper's nest, which is by the window that is looking down Elm Street, because it's Houston and Elm, and then that turn that happens there down Elm Street, where you can see a set of boxes of school books that are there that have been set up in such a way that somebody coming off the elevator or coming up the stairs looking over would not see that there was somebody there. It was like a little position that somebody had set up. And there were 3 bullet casings on the ground. And so it's like, okay, we've got bystanders saying 3 to 5 shots were fired. We got bystanders saying that we saw somebody sticking a rifle out of that window. And when we go up there and check, we find a rifle on that floor, on the other side of the floor from the sniper's nest, hidden behind some boxes. We find this 6.5 Mannlicher Carcano rifle, and over on by the so-called sniper's nest by the window are 3 ejected rifle casings on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got 3 shots. That's where they get that from. And so we know what happened to the first round. We know what happened to the second round. Or excuse me, we know what happened to the first round. We know what happened to the third round. Now we have 8 wounds left to account for between Kennedy and Governor Connolly. How do we make that work?
The second bullet.
Yeah, well, the answer is like the second bullet that was fired must have caused all these wounds. How did it do that? Well, somebody working for the Warren Commission by the name of Arlen Specter, who went on to be a member of the House of Congress, House of Representatives in Congress for years, proposed the single bullet theory, that it caused all of this damage. It went, like I said, in Kennedy's back, out his fucking neck, down into Connolly's back, out his rib cage, hit him in the elbow, traveled down the path of his radius and ulna, came out of his wrist, and then went straight down and embedded itself in Connolly's leg. Now, they're both Kennedy and Connolly, because they've been hit by gunfire, were taken to Parkland Hospital, the closest hospital available. Connolly and Kennedy are both put upon stretchers and taken in. Connolly is taken off of the stretcher he's on and put upon a different one to be moved off for surgical care, as was Kennedy. And a nurse walking by finds that bullet laying on Connolly's stretcher, which is CE3, Commission Exhibit CE 399, the so-called magic bullet.
Right.
That did all of that damage.
So what does the bullet look like?
It's often referenced as pristine. It looks damn near undamaged.
So that if it was impacting multiple different flesh points and being redirected,
Why wouldn't it be crushed and mushed?
Right.
Well, there's a reason during the subsequent trial that I referenced a certain piece of evidence that the FBI themselves running a series of tests, like, is this even possible? They fired an identical bullet from an identical rifle through the wrist of a human cadaver, and the front of the bullet is mushroomed. So it's only one of the wounds between Kennedy and Connolly. And it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't fired into ballistics shell. It was fired through the wrist of a human cadaver. And that identical bullet was absolutely mushroomed. So is it possible that that bullet did all that damage? Yes. It just did not hit any dense tendons, bones, and it didn't actually hit any bones. It just passed through muscle and flesh and skin. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't like making that call, but in the absence of other strong empirical evidence, you're left with, I honestly think you're left with making that call. I don't like it. It doesn't fit. There's a whole bunch of evidence that seems to run contrary to it. But in the absence of really strong evidence, it's like, well, look, his head moves back and to the left. I don't know, man. I've seen the Zapruder film on repeat so many fucking times. I have no idea what's going on in that video anymore. I think, well, his head is moving back and to the left. It's not, from Abraham Zapruder's angle, it really does look like it's moving back into the left, but he wasn't at an actual 90-degree angle from it. And if you were, the bullet strafed the side of Kennedy's head. It wasn't from the front where he's hitting the forehead and the back of his head blew out. Mm-hmm. It hit in the occipital, it's called, region, the right side of the occipital region of mm-hmm. Kennedy's head on the right side. And that's why you see the explosion. You see a chunk of skull fly straight up. That's why Jackie Kennedy gets out of her seat and appears to crawl off the back of the limousine, or attempting to crawl off the back of the limousine. She's not doing that. She, in her trauma and delirium and shock of the moment, is actually trying to recover a piece of her husband's skull that landed on the trunk.
Oh, that's chilling. Fuck me.
It's true. It's what she was doing.
She's like, oh, I got you, honey. I got you, baby.
Yeah. Well, she was out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it was...
No, that actually gave me like chills up my back.
Yeah. Like, homie, let me just grab this. We'll be able to sew it back on or something.
Ooh, yeah. No, I don't. That gives me the shivers. Shiver me timbers. Woo.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now I have to go and I have to, like, formulate my own theory that is more compelling than your theory is. And then I'll pose it to you.
If there weren't any lizard people in it, I want lizard people to be involved.
You want lizard people to be involved. I can make that happen. I can find lizard people for you. I can find lizard people anywhere.
Sam, it's like, Polly, I'm surprised none of these new age weirdo psychic empaths have gone to the site to reveal what, quote, really happened. Yeah, I know.
They probably have.
Yeah. There's a group that went there and fired multiple rounds, blanks with microphones set up everywhere to determine the acoustics of it all, demonstrating why people thought they heard more than 3 shots because of the reflection off of hard surfaces and buildings and whatnot. Mm-hmm. The one thing that's difficult to explain is that why so many people said that they believed shots were coming from the grassy knoll to the right of Abraham Zapruder, down in front of Oswald. Multiple eyewitnesses said that they heard or ear witnesses rather heard shots coming from there, and you can see in the multiple videos that were taken at the time of everybody, as soon as the limousine clears Dealey Plaza, en masse runs towards the grassy knoll, because that's where they believe the shots came from. And it's like, okay, were they hearing reflections from over there? Or was there somebody standing behind that picket fence firing shots? Okay,
so this is like my current working theory. It's very loose and I have nothing to support it. But I like the idea that there were 2 shooters. But it just so happened to be like a complete coincidence that 2 randoms decided on this day, at this time, at this moment, to shoot the president.
You know, there's a book called the Illuminatus trilogy, and it's like all the conspiracy theories in one book. Basically, that's a short and accurate way to describe it, but that's what's going on. And that is what's happening when they constantly flash back to the Kennedy assassination. Yes, there are 4 different groups all deciding to kill Kennedy on the same day, and none of them know the other ones are there.
It's the most amusing theory to me. and like the most popular person, or the most popular theory, that, or the prevailing narrative, I guess, is the most boring one, but like the other ones, they just kind of like go underwater, and they're like, we don't get the credit, but we know it was actually us. They don't know that we know that, but we know that. But they don't know that, but that's okay, because we know.
So at this time in Dallas, because he was in New Orleans, I told you, doing the whole anti-Castro thing and getting arrested for, you know, doing all the stuff he was doing, right, trying to create his bona fides as a friend of the communist revolution in Cuba. He moved to Dallas where with his wife, but he doesn't stay with her. His wife and their 2 children end up moving into the house of Ruth Paine, because they become friendly with the people in the Dallas community that speak Russian and know Russian. There's some Russian immigrants there. Ruth Paine herself teaches Russian. She learned the Russian language out of personal interest. And Marina, of course, who speaks better Russian than she does English, ends up moving in with her. Oswald himself gets a rooming house that is down in the Oak Cliff section of Dallas. Fuck, Weebo. Anyway,
What?
he signs in under the name O.H. Lee. Now, when you're gonna create a false name, you know, that's how you do it, right there.
Oswald Harvey Lee.
Yeah, you just kind of switch stuff around. So he was Mr. Lee when he was there, O.H. Lee, and it's like, oh damn, you clever.
Got him.
Yeah, right. And this is where he would go to work every day from down to the Texas School Book Depository, where he had recently gotten that job. That Thursday night, he decides to stay at the Payne's house, or visit the Payne's house, which he usually didn't do. Where he kept his rifle in their garage. Oh no. Yeah, the rifle that's later discovered at the Texas School Book Depository. But an interesting just side note of trivia. Do you remember, have you seen Star Wars?
Yes.
The original Star Wars?
Yes.
Do you remember Porkins?
No.
You don't remember Porkins?
No. Am I supposed to? What's Porkins?
He's a guy. He was part of the Red Team. He wasn't Red 5. Luke was Red 5.
I don't remember Porkins.
Well, just type in Star Wars Porkins and you'll see him.
Okay. Star Wars Porkins.
Star Wars Porkins.
Do. Porken?
Yep.
S?
Yep.
Oh, it's INS. Jerk Tano Porkins. Oh, the chubby one.
Yeah, and they named the fat guy Porkins. Ouch.
Okay, now I remember.
That guy was one of Ruth Paine's Russian students.
Really?
Yeah.
Well then. There's a whole bunch of Porkins merch.
Oh, yeah.
Training to avenge Porkins. Jack Porkins. There's an action figure for Porkins.
I love it. So I don't know if you remember.
This is so funny.
Raiders of the Lost Ark here. These two guys come visit Indiana Jones when he's working at his.
Yeah.
He's working at the university, just being Indy, and they show up and they say your former professor has disappeared. Hitler's looking for the Ark of the Covenant and all that jazz.
Yeah.
The guy on the left, that's Porkins.
Oh.
That's Ruth Payne's student, Russian language student. And he's also the guy who played Grisham on the far right in 1989 Batman. He was the corrupt police lieutenant.
Oh, so this guy's been, like, everywhere then.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
Well, he acted and then died.
Oh. Rough. What else has he been in?
So it's like, what do Raiders of the Lost Ark, Star Wars, Batman, and the Kennedy assassination all have in common? This guy.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
William Hootkins? Oh, he died
Is
in
that his
2005. Yeah. William
Aw.
Michael Hootkins. American actor, best known for supporting roles in Hollywood blockbusters such as Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Batman. Acting career.
He was great as no, not Grisham. That wasn't his name in '89 Batman. The fuck was his name?
He was in.
He
The
was
Lost
great in that
Boys.
role as like a fat, disgusting, corrupt cop. He was fucking sweet when he's handing out the pictures of Jack Nicholson, and he's like, "This is the guy we're looking for. Shoot to kill." Know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. He was in Flash Gordon. Curse of the Pink Panther.
Eckhart. Thank you, Sam. Yeah, Lieutenant Eckhart.
The Neverending Story 3.
I didn't even know they made it 2.
I didn't even know that they made it 2 either. He was in the Lost Boys miniseries.
Yeah, Grisham was Jack Palance, right? He was the crime boss that Jack Nicholson killed. Yeah. Hey, Eckhart, think about the future. That was and as always, awesomely delivered by Jack Nicholson. Holy fuck, that was just top level.
Thank you for your patronage.
Where have you been spending your nights?
Thank you, SSerpent21, for the donation. I'm tuning in late. I'm hearing about JFK assassination, and does this have anything to do with Nora Bar last night, where Lincoln is assassinated at Mel Gibson's theater? That was a great night. What a great night. I sent in so much stupid shit for Polly to read. Yeah, tell me about this Lincoln assassination at Mel Gibson Theater. What's that about?
It's true.
I don't understand.
Okay.
I'm confused.
Weebo, I'm not gonna lie. There may have been some drinking going on last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that? That doesn't sound anything like you and Sam.
It was a vague 5 hours.
I couldn't imagine.
As best I can recall, we were going over like 100 questions about American history that Sam was doing really, really well at, I gotta say. Like, it's better than most Americans who have graduated from, U.S. public school, honestly.
Probably better than
But
me.
chat was fucking killing it, too.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty cool. There was... I found out Nurse Khaleesi not only knows her Bible, but knows how to cook and knows a hell of a lot about American history. It was
Well,
like...
how
and
about that?
homeschooled.
A trifecta.
Uh-huh. That's the whole deal right there.
I'm gonna
Anyway,
have to watch it later tomorrow when I'm at work.
the it came up with what was the name of the theater that Lincoln was assassinated?
Oh.
Right, and I'm like, Sam, because I knew the answer, but I just wanted to see, Sam, your chance, because chat's always on a 15-second delay. You know what I mean? So before their answers come tumbling in, do you have an answer? And I said, I'll give you a hint. It's named after a famous anti-Semite. And somebody in chat went, Mel Gibson? Question mark.
The Mel Gibson Theater.
And I was going, Henry Ford is who I was aiming for. Ford's Theater. Right? And then somebody in chat wrote, and I'm not sure if they were joking or just like being sarcastic. They said, Henry Ford was a few years after Lincoln's assassination. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm not saying it was named after him. It was a similar name as him. Yeah, it was kind of a drunken mess.
Right, of course, naturally,
Yeah.
as these things tend to be.
Yeah, but then it turned into some our own manufactured alternate history lore that Kennedy was fucking Lincoln was assassinated by, what is it that I had decided was John Wilkes Booth's profession? Because Sam got it wrong.
He was an actor.
And you were wrong. That's what Sam said. He was a stage actor.
What's the fucking difference?
Pedantry is the difference.
In the time, stage acting was basically what acting... Like, they didn't have movie actors back then, I'm pretty sure. It was stage acting as actor. Like, that's what it was.
They had dramatic readings. They had puppeteers. I will not have you smush this field down to being one and one thing only.
He was an actor. It counts. I don't know what you want me to do. It fucking counts. Go away. How dare you?
Gun. Of sorts. Umbrella term, Polly. Stop yelling at me, Sam.
Yes, it's an umbrella term. It counts. That's a right answer.
I was using my superpower of ruining jokes to try and explain them. Yeah, right. It's the actual history from the original universe timeline. Yeah, we're the one I grew up in, where my box of Fruit Loops said Fruit loops.
Don't listen to him, Weebo. He doesn't even use square spoons for his sugar cubes. Polydub!
Don't use sugar cubes at fucking all. I'm just amazed that the Europeans developed a fucking particular spoon. I brought that up on AAA and they didn't believe me.
Well, how else are you supposed to get the sugar cubes out of the box, alright? It is a square box and they are square cubes.
No. Once you get them out of the boxes when they're in there, you Philistine. You don't get them out of the box. You put them in their own little You're the lady who ordered the butter dish to match the set that she already had. How do you not know this? Why am I having to explain this to you?
I have a matching sugar bowl too. So
Do you?
Yeah. That did not cost nearly as much as the butter dish did. It still costs a lot more than it should have.
So I'm curious. It's because my answer right away when this first came up was, well, you use tongs, like the little set of cube tongs. And Sam was aghast at this. He said, no, you use a sugar spoon.
I actually thought that you would use tongs for that too. I'm just being disagreeable to be disagreeable with you.
But now you have the opportunity to search on antique sites and whatnot for a square shovel-shaped sugar spoon to go with your set.
Looking this up. I mean, I have a spoon collection anyway. Yeah, no, I've seen, so here. Ooh. Wrong thing. There we go. I've seen sugar spoons that look kind of like seashells, but I've never seen, like, are we talking about this?
Yeah, there you go. Like it's, but they're actually something like that. But the ones that Sam showed were like actually square, where the cube, like one cube could slide in and then slide out. You know.
Hey, fuck you, man!
How lovely.
Well, the goose bit her arm, so Jolene let him have it. And rightly so.
Yeah, that's right. That's her.
Gamerfleet, thank you for the 850. Always appreciated. Lincoln is the luxury brand under Ford. It's not hard to remember the morbidity of Ford and Lincoln.
I actually have this specific spoon right here. I think it was a gift from the Next 6 Minutes when he sent me tea strainers, which came with spoons.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. It's very pretty. I have to go find it, though.
Somebody told that joke last night. Lincoln was killed at Ford's, and Kennedy was killed in a Lincoln.
God damn it.
Made by Ford.
God damn it.
Thank you for your patronage.
Thank you, C. Thomas Peasant, for the $2 donation. Sugar shovel with extra steps. Yeah, basically. Now I'm gonna look up square. If I could spell square, that'd be great. So like this?
Yeah. Kinda.
Sam, send me the square sugar spoon. Like this?
Like which one? Oh man, look at all the colors.
I like the colors. No, these look more like they would be stirs for alcoholic beverages, like cocktails.
Yeah, and the colors, I don't think the Europeans would agree with that.
This one? Ooh, this one looks old. That looks kind of violin-bodied. Or this one. Those are meth spoons. Yes, to the uninitiated, what we are doing here is we are shopping for the finest of meth spoons.
Snoopy asks, so what are the shovel-looking spoons for? For sugar cubes. So you could pick up the sugar cube and it's an extremely specific use spoon.
Now, I absolutely am the kind of person that if I'm not careful, I could just get all of the accessories for all of the things, even if I have no reason to believe that I would ever actually use the thing for its intended use. But I'd get it just to complete the set, you know?
Yeah. I absolutely see you being a completionist in that way, yeah.
Yeah, just to have it in my collection, because I feel like something would be missing.
Brett Young asks, any thoughts on, excuse me, Jim Morrison's dad starting the Vietnam War? That's fresh. No idea.
I'm sorry, what?
I know.
We do not have time to get into that one. Mama has to go to bed probably like in 3 minutes. El Boyfriendo was not here to nag me to go to bed, so I have to do it to myself. Oh, wait, I think he actually just got home. I heard the door slam. Yep, he's home. Okay. So before he yells at me, we have to sign off, Polly.
You're still up? Oh my god, this is...
Yeah. Ooh, I think Sam did send me the sugar spoon. Oh, so that is what we were looking at. Okay.
At any rate, that is what we're going to try to do.
I think you're lean for the 350 and the Britishism because we're talking about sugar spoons after all. Weebo needs that bar site that I conveniently sent you in DMs yesterday. Okay.
Yeah, send it to me.
Yeah, actually, I will. I will send that along.
Do it. Yeah. Daniel Fullman's starting to miss the sex spots, and that is how we know that it is time for us to retire. When the sex spots start getting appealing, that's when it's time to go to bed.
Amen.
Mm-hmm. All right. Polly, do you have anything you want to show?
Hold on here. Copy link. Weebo, so I don't forget about it. There's the link. CocktailKingdom.com.
Yes. Now
Is there anything else that I want to shill? There is AAA all this week. Tomorrow, over on Drunkle's channel at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 a.m. on Christmas Island. And then on Wednesday, the best AAA of the week over on my channel at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 a.m. on Christmas Island. We love you guys over in Flying Fish Cove.
Indeed.
That's the capital. And then on Friday, I don't know,
There's some shenanigans that goes on there. No one cares.
well, the AAA over on Sinatra's channel on Friday at the same time, 5:30 p.m. On his second channel, actually, Sinatra Second. Or is it on Sinatra Screams? I think it's on Sinatra Screams. Yes. Yes. But if you watch Wednesday, you'll get the link for Friday. And you should be watching Wednesday because it's the best one of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I disagree.
How?
Well, I may or may not be partial to Wednesdays because that's a notification that I actually get more regularly.
Well, Wednesday is the best one of the week because it's mine.
There you go.
It's the funniest, funnest.
Mm-hmm. The funniest.
There is that. And what about you? And no, Sam, I am not doing Noir Bar shots. I'm not doing YouTube shorts. Are you going to do YouTube shorts?
I
Weebo?
should. I really should.
I don't know.
I'll probably figure something out.
Sam christened it as TickTube yesterday, which I thought was a great way to describe it because it's like an infestation.
That makes sense. I like that. But it is a good way to get a lot more viewers from farther out because they do massively shill those to everyone else. And eventually I think they are going to let you monetize them. So it's an alternative revenue source if that's like your fancy. But me...
A lot of it is a promotional thing, but
right.
I don't know.
That's what Magog's been doing on the Wicked Guild channel, so...
I have actually thought about it, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I bust balls on it, but I'm going to have to figure it out. I mean, at least it's not a giant Chinese psyop for collection of intelligence, but, you know, whatever.
Aren't they all, though? At their core.
It
Maybe
feels
not
like...
Chinese, but something's collecting all your information. Anyway, I have a video that I literally... I don't know if I finished it, but I just did the last, like, run-through of the whole thing, and now I gotta put the outro on it and decide whether or not I want music to play. At this point, I'm thinking not, because the sooner I get the outro done, I can render it, get an, what is it called? I can render it, post it to the YouTube, and then figure out what I want to do for a thumbnail, at some point tomorrow, but it would be live for the patrons by tomorrow morning for like a day or so before I made it live on either Thursday. I think I might want to do Wednesday because I like to space out my content, and we have Tavern Talks on Tuesday, so at some point you will get a video this week. It will either be Tuesday or Wednesday. But anyway, that's what I got in the works. The Morbius review is coming. I just have to sit and record it. It took me so long to do a second viewing. It was so bad.
Wow. Was it really that bad? I've never seen it.
It's not great. I have so many ideas for how to fix it, and that's what I'm toying with the notion of doing is, do I want to go through more of Morbius to fix the movie for the audience instead of just review it? And I haven't decided yet, but that's later. I have also the Halloween special coming out at the end of this month.
Awesome.
So that is something to get hyped about because, as always, that is my favorite video to produce from start to finish. It's the best time that I ever have doing videos is the Halloween special. So that's coming up. Otherwise, we'll be back here, question marks, next week, same time, same place, Polly?
Awesome. Yep.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, we'll be back here next week, same time, same place, same otter, same face. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, lizard people of all ages, have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you then.
Have a good night, everyone.